Work that we do is essentially generally with the CEO of for-purpose organizations to help them step back and understand why their model is no longer sustainable, why their retention and acquisition is no longer appropriate to their long-term survivability, and what are the key drivers that are influencing that particular market space in which they operate. The outcome of this sort of work is essentially a complete reformulation of these businesses to put them on a long-term economic sustainable footing. How do you know when mission model innovation is appropriate? I think the conditions that you'll find yourself in as a for-purpose organization will be one of three key factors. Factor one, your traditional constituency is drifting away, and as a result, the retention or acquisition becomes much more difficult, for example, for member organizations, and eventually you find a point where you reach the peak and you're unable to create sustainable new entries onto your model. So that's one. Secondly, when your core purpose has reached a point where there are numerous other substitutes available, and what we're seeing a lot with associations in particular is that the traditional service offering of those associations or for-purpose organizations are now met by other parties, whether those be the Googles and Amazons of the world, or perhaps the government, or even consumers empowered to take control of their particular element of that value. The third is obviously economic, where you find that traditionally your sources of funding are no longer sufficient to cover the costs of your for-purpose organization, which ultimately all combines into a situation where those are key signals to show that your existing business model is no longer valid. It's insufficient to apply, if you will, traditional strategy alternatives to that problem, because just doing more of the same on your core model will not take you into a sustainable future, i.e. offering the next new product or opening up in the next new geography or offering the new service. That will not fundamentally alter your competitive or your, if you will, your sustainability position with your members or your customers if your core model is obsolete and no longer viable given the change that's surrounding your business.